Okay, in the studio with us this morning we have author Miss Cherry-Ann Carew, and her book is Whisper of Lies. Good morning and welcome to Guyana Today.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Before we go into the book, tell us a little bit about yourself.
In a nutshell, I was born here. I'm originally Guyanese. I relocated to London, England a very long time ago. I worked in corporate England. I thereafter moved to California, and I started working as an author as well as a writing coach and editor. I currently have a base in Toronto, and I'd like to sort of get back into the flow of things in Guyana, hence why I'm promoting the book here as well.
Okay, and I know you mentioned earlier you co-published 2 books.
Yes, I'm the co-author of 2 books, one of which is titled How to Handle Fear, Secrets to Succeeding in Challenging Times. That actually became a bestseller.
Wow.
So I'm pretty proud of those.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Whisper of Lies.
Whisper of Lies is about a girl who relocates to London, England from Guyana, and it's not me. I just chose that as a setting. And she relocates there because due to the death of her grandparents, who were initially her caretakers as well. It jumps to when she's 28, which is 13 years later, when she's in an unhappy marriage with 3 children. And the plot, therefore, essentially talks about how she overcomes adversity within the unhappy marriage. The book is more driven on an emotive stance, and I don't want to go into too many details from here on because then nobody will buy the book if I tell you about it.
Okay.
But that's in essence what it's all about.
Okay, so what's the message, or what is it you want persons to take away after reading the book?
There are many messages. There are evidently sub-characters as well, and they all are weaved together. So, for example, what I've done is I have given each character a story. So you learn their stories within each character, and it's titled by their name. So, for example, the main protagonist is Lavina. So you will hear her problems, if you wish, or her story about what she's going through, and the other characters as well. So in essence, what I would like people to learn from that, because I have included some topical issues, i.e. schizophrenia, is to learn the stories that goes behind that, within the system, if you wish, not terribly deep, that women can be independent. They can go after what they want. They don't have to totally be dependent on a man or anyone specifically. So I'd like to think that it can motivate them and inspire them to move on and be able to learn from the characters' experiences, because that's essentially what it's all about. And it's told from the daily experiences that we women, or people in general, go through. So there are things in there that I think they could perhaps empathize with, as well as sympathize, and also realize that perhaps I'm going through this and I can learn from it.
Because it's everyday situations that a lot of women can relate to.
Yes, yes. I wanted to make it, hence the word, if you wish, topical.
Okay, so it's also going to act as, in some way, an empowering book too.
Yes, I'd like to think that. But again, I don't want to say too much because then I'll be giving away the end of the story.
Okay, so for persons who are interested in getting their hands on a copy of Whisper of Lies,
they can either go to my website, which is www.cherryancarew.com, or barnesandnoble.com, or amazon.com, and they can get a copy of it. I am making some arrangements to have it filtered into, I believe it's Austin's bookstore, one of the major bookstores you have here. So I'm working on that.
Okay, and any words of advice for our local authors?
Read my book, and I hope that it will inspire you. Or, in fact, read my book, it will inspire you. And hopefully get them into if they're interested in writing, I'd like to think that it can.
Okay. Starting off your career, how challenging was it?
On the writing aspects? It was very challenging, like anything else. I think many writers like to write, and that's why they continue to write, and perhaps make a career of it, and not just a hobby. It was challenging in terms of getting to know the system and the techniques and using all of the tools that are necessary for writing to make your writing engaging, style of writing, tone, rhythm, and pace. So these are things that I had to learn. So I took many, workshops and seminars and conferences relative to that as well. So the challenge was there, but it wasn't hard. There's a major difference. A lot of us tend to, hear the word challenge and think it's hard, but I actually enjoy the challenge. So it was very challenging, but hence this is the fruition of it.
Okay, and I think once you're doing something that you love and that you're passionate about, you can overcome those challenges.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, one can read How to Handle Fear as well. It incorporates 22 authors, and we all talk about how we overcome fear too. So, there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us this morning.
My pleasure.
I do hope that persons, visit your website and get their hands on a copy, because it sounds like a very, very interesting
It is. It is. I hope so too. I've had some very, very good feedback. So I do encourage everyone to, take a look at www.cherry-anncarew.com, or they can get it at amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com.
And of course, you mentioned it's the first of a sequel, so
It's
we
the
have
first
a lot
of a
more to
sequel,
expect.
yes. So I'm under pressure to get the second one on the way.
Okay, well, best wishes to you and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Do stay tuned. Guyana Today continues.